Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Civilization Reborn. I am Sir Guy Man. Um, you might have noticed since the last episode I changed my channel name, and that's because I think I like this one better. If I don't, I'll change it to something else. If you like it, then I don't know, let me know. Last episode, it was an American focused episode where America things happened. But yeah, this episode we're gonna focus on Eurasia, and Africa too, I guess. But yeah, so let's get started on this episode. In this episode, first we're gonna start in Korea, and Korea is going to be like, hey, I want more land, and with this, Korea is going to invade the other Korea and go like, haha, your land is my land now. How do you feel about that? And these Koreans are like, they don't say anything because they don't exist anymore. They're also going to expand over there. So yeah, the Koreans they expand over this way. So the Koreans they expand over to there. So yeah. Now we're going to focus on these Chinese guys. They're also going to expand because, you know, expansion means more people, and more people means more power, because more people equals million or means more army, and more army means you can invade people and they won't put up as much as a fight, or they'll be easier to conquer. So yeah, these guys they expand a little more. They expand eastward, yeah, eastwards, because that's the only place they can really expand without invading other people. So yeah, they expand by that much. So yeah, bam. Now we're gonna move up north to these guys up here. These guys are kind of like chill. They don't really have beef with anyone, uh, mainly because, you know, they live in the steppes, the plains. There's nothing going on up here. They also kind of live in Siberia, so you know, there's nothing going on here, so might as well be friends with the guys you are neighbors with. So yeah, they expand a bit more, and by bit I mean like they basically double their freaking land mass, which is huge. Doubling your land mass in one go is wild. Well, it's not in one go. This is like a process that takes place over like many years. But for the sake of the video, it takes basically 2 seconds. I mentioned earlier that these two are very close friends, and to show this, we are going to have them create an alliance. It's going to be the Pentagon Alliance between these blue steppe people and these green steppe people. But yeah, these guys are really close friends, and this is going to be the first alliance outside of the Americas, and first alliance in Asia. That's pretty big, pretty wild. First alliance up there. That's not going to be the only alliance that happens in this episode and in Asia. But the other alliance is going to be between these Vietnamese guys and these Myanmarian guys. But yeah, they're really close. They're like, yo, you want to form an alliance? And these guys are like, yeah, let's form an alliance. So they form an alliance. How magical is that? Moving eastwards, over here, I kind of said that they weren't going up into this area because, you know, the mountains. Well, turns out this is like where Pakistan is, and there are no and there's not a lot of mountains up there. Well, there are mountains, but they're not as big as the Himalayas or the Tibetan Plateau. But speaking of the Tibetan Plateau, I don't want to see this big great blob here anymore. So, wow, would you look at that? Countries like from like the green team and from the red or the Chinese team and the Indians all band together and send a bunch of exploration parties down here and are like, yay, how cool! This is our land now. But yeah, with all this new land discovered, these guys are gonna be like, hey, let's expand into it. Okay, so these are the guys who are going to be expanding into this new area. First it's going to be these Iranian slash Pakistani guys. They expand over here. They also expand a little bit down into Arabia. But yeah, next up is going to be these yellow guys, and they cut off these green Indians from expanding, which we commonly know, or is what we commonly call a dick move. But yeah, next is going to be these pink guys expanding, and bam, would you look at that? a bunch of expansions. Moving on, now we're going to focus on something we haven't focused on in quite a bit, and that is going to be trade routes. Yeah, trade routes. So yeah, these pink guys like, we can either have the trade route go this way, or we can have the trade route go this way. These green guys are like, we'll give you a lot of money if you build it through these down going down through these guys down here and then up into here. And these guys are like, okay. So yeah, they build the trade route down the coast and then these Tamil into the Tamil Kings. But yeah, and then it goes up this way and then it crosses into Sri Lanka. And one thing I forgot to mention is that I added like these blue areas of the trade route, uh, which makes it, or which like signifies like the water crossings. Did that. Um, I'll make that blue later. But yeah, anyways, the trade route goes up the coast of India and then into these green guys, and then into the capital of the green team, and then continues going up the coast, and then goes whip and it passes really close to the yellow team, and the yellow team's like, "Hey, why don't you build it through us?" And the green team's like, "You remember when you cut us off from expanding?" And these guys are like, "Yeah, well, yeah, get fucked." And the yellow guys are like, "Oh man." And then the trade route continues through the green team, and then passes into the Pakistani team, and then yeah, it just continues going along the coast. Goes eventually into their capital, and then up to here, and then up to here, and then over here, and then it crosses the Strait of Hormuz, and then goes into Arabia, and I think that's where we'll leave the trade route for now. But yeah, now let's take a look at these Arabian fellows. They're like, hey, what if we discovered more of this peninsula, and by and uh, what they discover is more desert, and eventually they just like discover all that, and they're like, oh, okay, it's just desert, whatever. But yeah, these pink guys are like, huh, what's over that way? And so they go over that way and into Somalia, and they're like, oh wow, how cool. But yeah, and they, as the further they go down the coast, like, oh wow, it's getting much more livable compared to this desert. So yeah, and then they notice, huh, it's also kind of like habitable down over here, and they discover Ethiopia, and they're like, oh wow, it's kind of livable over here. How glorious. And then they discover Lake Victoria, and they're like, oh wow, a lake. How cool. How amazing. But yeah, these green guys also send some scouts down this way, down like because they want to, and they discover like the Sudan area and like also kind of like Ethiopia. So yeah, more of eastern of western Africa. I Oh yeah, these guys didn't move east; they moved west. And because apparently I'm bad at my directions. These Arabian guys are going to expand, so let's watch them do that. Okay, so these are the country's expansions. You may notice that there's a little gap in here, and that's because I didn't want to fill that in right now. But lore reason, because it's desert and they don't want to go there. The first up is these Israeli guys. They move over to here, get a lot of land, and then these guys over here, they basically double the amount of land they have. Then these blue guys down here, they expand more, and you may be wondering, hey, isn't this just Blue Team from Addis Pro's Wixo series? And to that I say, these pink guys over here are going to also get a bunch more land in not only in Arabia, but also down here, in Africa. And then up here, these Egyptian guys are not only going to expand more into Arabia, but also more into Africa, and becoming like a really strong powerhouse over here in Africa. But yeah, now we're gonna move on to a little bit of war, because war is fun, war is cool. We always love war here. And the war today is going to be between Israel and their northern neighbors, the Syrians. So yeah, Israel declares war on the Syrians and instantly moves in and captures a city. Their forces move upwards and they move up the coast, capture three whole cities, and these guys are like, oh damn. They put up a good fight, but Israel is just stronger. So yeah, then Israel pushes in over to here, and then captures more cities. The Syrians focus their troops over around their capital. That's why the Israelis can't really penetrate it right now. But yeah, they move to encircle their capital and take a few cities along the way. And as this is happening, the Turkish people to the north declare war on these southern guys and send troops down here. They capture these two cities down here and meet up with the Israeli troops. And then the Israeli troops are like, hey, we can't let this happen, and cut these guys off, and then take over the country. And yeah, that's that. So let's take a look at this peace treaty. So yes, this is the peace treaty. These the Israelis get basically all the southern bits that they invaded, and then these Turkish guys, they get everything up here, uh, basically what they invaded. So these Turkish guys got everything that they basically invaded, and these Israeli guys got everything they invaded. And let's quickly take this capital off the map. And now let's move on to these Greek people over here. Yeah, these Greeks, they also want to expand their empire, and throughout the whole Balkan region. And so yeah, let's look at that. Okay, so yeah, the Greeks, they declare war on their northern neighbors and invade. Yeah, their troops move across the border and instantly capture this major city up here, and then they go up this way and capture another major city, and then they move over and capture this major city as well, and then they cut these guys off and basically flush them out, and now they've captured those two major cities to the north. And then these Byzantine guys, they're like, huh, what if we also expanded our empire? And they join the war and invade these purple guys and instantly capture a city, move up this way, capture two more cities, and threaten the capital. These Greek guys are not fans of this because they're like, huh, um, if they control the capital, they control how much land we get and how much land they get. So these guys instantly make a move for the capital and take it over. And let's see that peace treaty. So yes, this is the peace treaty. These guys invade this up there, and then invade or take that and that, and then these guys take that, that, and that. The Greek people aren't happy with this, and out of spite, invade their neighbors and or these northern neighbors to get more land. And they're like, wow, look at all this stuff up here. That's just right for the taking. Oh, there goes the capital. Oopsie poopsie. But then these guys are like, hey, we kind of want some land. So they kind of take some land. They take these two cities down here, and then they are meet up with the Greeks and like, hey, we don't want to fight. And the Greeks are like, okay, fine. So yeah, let's take a look at that peace treaty over there. So yeah, this is the peace treaty. They basically just get half that country or most of this country. Now let's move on to. We're gonna take a little religion, little look at religion. These Greek people, they are obsessed with their culture. They're like, our great Greek culture needs to be all across the world. And to do this, they're going, in their newly annexed lands, they're going to do a little thing called genocide. I'm going to genocide a little bit. I'm going to genocide these people up here. They're going to get rid of their culture. Um, yeah, they're going to make it Greek, as they're saying. But yeah, they slowly genocide and take over and get rid of these two cultures of these two former or the former countries that were here. But yeah, and you know what? What's more Balkan than ethnically cleansing your neighbors? But yeah, the Greeks managed to do that for now. But yeah, they kill a whole lot of people, and no one really cares because this is the ancient times. Many people die anyways. So yeah, now we move back into, normal layer. Now we are going to focus on the exploration of the Mediterranean country, or the Mediterranean. So yeah, these guys down here, they're gonna send some scouts over this way and into North Africa, and be like, oh wow, a desert but ocean, and they're gonna be like, oh wow, how cool. And then they're gonna their ships are gonna be like, oh wow, we can see a little bit of landmass over there. I wonder what that is. So they sail over on their ships, and they're like, oh wow, some land. And they're like, okay. And then they keep exploring that land, and they're like, oh wow, it's actually quite big. Look at all of this land. It's so big. Um, but yeah, and then they're like, huh, I wonder if there's a huge continent that's like basically this big thing up there. And they're like, oh wow, I wonder if there's stuff up there. But they continue exploring, and they're like, oh, okay, where's that big continent we were promised? They're like, oh, well, this is quite big already, but it's not as big as we were thinking. But yeah, they just basically discover all of Portugal and discover Spain, and then they go up the coast of Spain, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, there's people here. And they're like, oh wait, it's the Italians. Okay, whatever. But yeah, they basically then discover the rest of Spain or like the Iberian Peninsula, and then these European guys are like, hey, what if we also help them explore things? And then they move up into France and discover more of France, and they're like, oh wow, France, what a horrible, horrible place. I'm just kidding. They don't say that. They're like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. France is pretty nice. Look how this is pretty cool. So yeah, they basically discover France and the Iberian Peninsula, and while they're at it, the Italians discovered Corsica and Sardinia, because why not? You know, why not have them discover Corsica and Sardinia? But yeah, so yeah, uh, yeah, Spain and France are discovered, as Portugal as well. That's pretty cool. They're better. I wonder if there's gonna be some new people over here. There are gonna be some new settlements, or that are going to be basically like the descendants or like this people who scouted this area from these guys. Yeah, these guys down here. They're like, oh wow, well, let's create some new countries. So yeah, there's going to be this country up here, this Catalonian country. Then there's also going to be this like this like Aragonian country. I think this is where Aragon was. Might have been actually more south actually. But yeah, southern France and like northern Spanish. And then there's gonna be like these kind of these Spanish people over here, and then these guys are gonna control the Strait of Gibraltar, because why not control the Strait of Gibraltar? These guys over here are gonna be some Moroccans, these Moroccan guys, and then finally these guys over here, these Portuguese guys slash Western Spaniards. But yeah, wow, look at that. Spain has people in it now. That's kind of cool. But yeah, now we're gonna move over to Italy. These Sicilian guys, they want power. These green guys, so they're going to invade this smaller country, and then they're going to invade this other country because that was really easy. They were way weaker than them. But yeah, Sicily is like, huh, there's some, there's some land over there. There's no one there, we don't think. So let's go explore that land and colonize it. And so they do. And they basically set up Carthage. But yeah, you may be wondering, hey, why is Carthage there? How are these tiny little Sicilian guys gonna, you know, set up Carthage? And I need to remind you, these Phoenician guys over here set up Carthage, and they were basically on the opposite ends of the Mediterranean. So I think it's a little plausible that these Sicilian guys are able to create Carthage uh, from a shorter distance. But yeah, they colonize basically like the northern coast of the Mediterranean and are like, yo, cool. But yeah, anyway, and then finally, and the final event in this episode is going to be these Italian guys. They're going to expand up this way, up into like northern Italy, and you're gonna be like, oh, cool, yay. And then these Italian guys are going to also expand and go over like the coast of like Italy and southern France. They're also going to colonize Corsica because, you know, why not? That's gonna do it for today's episode. I hope you liked it. Um, it's kind of a longer one. It's about 20-ish minutes. But yeah, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I want to get monetized, baby. Because monetization is fun, because that means I can make money, and I kind of, want to make money. But yeah, that's going to be all for today's episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.